Hi, friends. Hi, my first grade scientists. It is time for science, and I am so happy to be here with you. So, if you remember, so far in science, we have learned what it means to observe. When we look at something, when we smell something, when we taste something, or hear something, or touch something, we can use our five senses to learn more about it, to observe it. Then we've also talked about different science tools that we could use with our five senses to learn more about that object that you're observing. You can use a ruler to see how tall something is, a tape measure to see how wide something is, a scale to see how heavy something is. Those tools you can use to help your observation skills. Well, last science class we learned what a prediction is. And a prediction is making a strong guess. It's taking what you have observed and what you know, asking yourself a question, and then making a great, strong guess. Okay? So today we're going to kind of put all that together and we're going to learn about the scientific method. I am so excited. So let's get started. So today we are going to learn about the scientific method. The scientific method has several steps a scientist uses to study a natural occurrence. So the scientific method are all those steps that you take. Observing, asking a question, making a prediction, creating a test or an experiment, and then recording your results. All those steps are the scientific method. There are five basic steps to the scientific method. Let's review what they are. So the first step is observation, and that's what we've been talking about. You're watching what happens. You might use your nose to smell something to see what's going on, or your ears to hear what's going on. Depending on what it is, you might even use your mouth to taste it, and then you might use your skin or your hands to touch it. Okay? So that's your first step. Just observe. What are you noticing? What are you seeing? The next step, step two, is you're going to ask a question. What am I seeing? What am I seeing? When you're looking, when you're hearing, when you're smelling, when you're tasting, when you're touching, what are you experiencing? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you tasting? That's your question, okay? The next step in the scientific method is step three, and that is where you form your hypothesis, and that's your prediction that we talked about last time. And that is your strong guess about what you think might happen. So, for example, we were working with M&Ms last week, and I asked you, I told you, I'm going to put these M&Ms in water. What is your hypothesis? What is your prediction? What is your guess? What do you think is going to happen to those M&Ms once they go in water? So that's step three. You just ask yourself your question. Step four is the fun part, my favorite part. You get to do an experiment, okay? And so what you do is you create an experiment and then you follow all those steps in your plan and then you see what happens and see if your hypothesis or your prediction or your guess was correct. Just like last time, my experiment, my question was, what's going to happen to the M&Ms when I put them in water? Well, my experiment was putting the M&Ms in water and then seeing what happens after a period of 10 minutes. And we all learned that the color comes off. Experiments are my favorite. Then step five is your conclusion, okay? And that is where you see what happened and you record your results. What happened? What did you discover? So now it's your turn. And what I am going to do now is get this out of here really quickly. And I'm going to come back to full screen, hopefully. There we go. Hello, hello. And I'm going to show you what I would like you to do. So on Seesaw, I have an example, okay? I'm going to explain what you're going to do, but you need to look at that example. But I'm going to walk you through the scientific method really quickly, okay? So the first thing is I'm going to do a little experiment right now, okay? You're not going to do that. You can do this experiment if you have these materials at home. That's more than okay. But this will not be your assignment. So we're going to go over that shortly. but I want to walk you through the scientific process. Okay, so friends, I have a feather, 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 tickle, 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 and I have a block, okay, a feather and a block. My question is, I'm observing. This feather's kind of light, this block's a little heavier, the feather's a little bit bigger than the block's small. My question is, if I drop these, which is going to drop faster, the feather or the block? Okay, so I want you to think with me. Make your prediction, make your hypothesis. If I drop these at the same time and at the same distance, which is going to go faster? Which is going to land first, the feather or the block? I'll give you a second to think about that, and I'm going to think of my prediction. My hypothesis, my prediction is that I think the block is going to fall faster because as I'm holding it, the block is a little bit heavier. And so I think since it's so heavy, that weight is going to force it down a lot faster than the feather. Okay? So you keep your hypothesis, your prediction, your guess in your head, and let's do this experiment and see if we're right. So I've got it at about the same length, and now I'm going to drop them on 1, 2, 3. It was hard for you to see, but I was right. The block fell faster because the block is a little heavier. So what I would do then is I would write down or draw a picture in my science notebook if I have one that the block um, fell faster and got to the floor quicker than the feather because it's heavier. So that's the whole scientific process. I saw two objects, I observed them, then I asked myself a question. Well, if I drop these two items at the same time, at the same distance, which item is going to fall faster, the block or the feather? I made my prediction or my hypothesis. I said that I thought the block was going to fall faster because it's heavier. I did my experiment. Did a fair experiment where I had them at the same length and I dropped them and I observed that the block fell faster. Now, if you notice, I did it twice. Um, I wanted to do it at least twice to make sure I got the same results, and I did. Then um, the next part would be getting a piece of paper, like your science notebook or something, and recording your results. What did you find out? Okay, friends, so now what you're going to do is I'm going to go back here, and I am going to bring up this paper. So this is what you have in Seesaw, friends, okay, under science today. So what I've done here is I've just given you an example, okay? So what I would like you to do is draw this on a paper. So you're going to draw all these blocks, okay? On the first block up here, you're going to put item. Then you're going to put, do you think it will sink or float? And then you're going to say what actually happened. Then on this column, what I need you to do is find an adult to help you, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, whoever's there to help you. See if a grown-up can help you. You need to find 4 items that it's okay for it to go in water. Okay? I did this experiment last night, and so I did a toy car, a rock, a block, and pine cone. These are all things that I had at my house that I was okay with getting wet. So you need to find 4 items. If they end up being the same items, that's okay, but I want you to look around your house and see if you can find different things because I'm curious to see what items float or sink. So that's our experiment today, our float or sink activity. So you're going to write item 1 here, then item 2 here, then item 3 here, then item 4 here. Then what you need to do before your experiment, you need to make your prediction, make your hypothesis. Do you think this item will sink or float? Okay, you're going to write that in that box. Then what I want you to do is get ready for your experiment. You just need a bowl of water, okay? Something that you can put the item in and you can see if it's going to float or sink, okay? Then what you're going to do is one by one, each item you're going to put in the water. See if it sinks or see if it floats. Then what you're going to do is you're going to write down, you're going to record what you found out. Did it sink or did it float? Was your hypothesis correct or incorrect? Okay, so this example is on Seesaw. I just put this on here as an example. I want you to use it to draw what I did here on another piece of paper. After you get done with that, what you're going to do is take a picture of your chart that you made on another piece of paper, and you're going to post that to Seesaw for today's assignment. Okay? And then because we did a sink or float activity, I do have a video at the end of this activity to explain why some things float and some things sink. So please check that video out. I hope you had fun today in science. I know I did. Thank you so much for all your hard work. I cannot wait to see how your experiments turn out. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.